The brain rule number 9 is vision. In this chapter, the author wants to emphasize the fact that we don't see with our eyes. We actually see with our brains. Vision really trumps all other senses. In this chapter, the author talks about an experiment made by some expert wine testers in how they were given two types of wine, a white wine and a red wine. For the white wine, they use a very specific and selected vocabulary descriptive of that type of wine. And for the red wine, they use a completely different vocabulary that, according to their expertise, was representative of the red wine. Later on, somebody took a glass of white wine and put some colorant without flavor and without smell, and they gave the wine to the experts to taste. And one will expect that they use the vocabulary of the white wine because it was in fact white wine, but they use the vocabulary that was descriptive of the red wine. And with this, the message was that they really the visual of the wine overrode the rest of the senses. Oops, sorry about this. We move on, and the fact is that, like I said before, we don't see with our eyes, we see with our brains. What we see is not what our eyes send to our senses, is what our brain sends to our senses. To our senses. The process of vision is not as simple as a camera taking a picture. It's way more complex than anyone could have imagined. The chapter really spends half of the pages explaining the whole process. The vision itself takes half to our brain's resources, and we only see what our brain really wants us to see. In general, we can basically say that we experience our visual environment as an analyzed opinion of what the brain thinks is out there, not what it really is out there. One way to measure the dominance of the vision is to look at it, at its effects on learning, and that was actually the main focus for us to focus on learning. The vision is the best single tool for learning really anything. The visual input is easier to be recognized and recalled than any other input. Visual presentations are far more efficient than text and oral presentations. We learn and remember best through pictures and not really through written or oral words. Even when we read, we try to visualize what the text is telling us. The images and the pictures are far more efficient than reading the text, because even when we read in the text, our brains are trying to visualize and create images of the letters that we're reading. The best visuals for learning are color, orientation, size, motion, and most recently, animation was added. And to summarize this chapter, we just need to say that less text is better. We need to put less words and more pictures. And thank you very much.